Let's now look at parabolic graphs or the parabola. We are given here y is equal to x squared. Now, a parabola graph is identified by the highest power in the graph being squared, usually x squared. So, in this case, y is equal to x squared. We are going to draw this graph using the table method. So, x is equal to -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. These x values are usually given to you. So let's substitute these x values into the given equation to work out our y values, and thus those will be our coordinates. So if our first x value is -2, y will equal to -2 squared. Now -2 squared gives me +4. The next x value is -1. If I substitute -1 in there, -1 squared will give me +1. 0 squared gives me 0. 1 squared should give me 1 here. And 2 squared should give me 4 here. So all you do now is you plot these points as we did for the straight line graph. So your first coordinate is -2 and 4. Find -2 on the x-axis, and here -2 is here, and on the y-axis find +4, and where these two points intersect here, this is your first point. The next coordinate is -1 and 1, so find -1 on your x-axis, which is here, and find +1 on your y-axis, which is here. That's your second point. Your next point is 0 and 0, which is the origin, and keep going. So it's 1 and 1, and the last point there was 2 and 4. So you need to join all these points, and this is not a straight line graph, this is a parabola, so make sure that when you join your points, you draw a curve. So if we are given a parabola equation, interpretation of parabola, so y is equal to x squared minus 9. Let's determine the axis of symmetry here. Now the axis of symmetry is a vertical line that goes straight through the center of the parabola. So if we look at our graph, graphically, we can see that our axis of symmetry is here. It's at the line where x is equal to 0. That's a special line. So to determine the axis of symmetry using the equation, we use this formula here. X is equal to -b over 2a. Now, where do we get the a and b terms from? The parabolic equation is y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. So your b term will be in front of the x term. Now you'll see that we have no x term here. We only have x squared, which means that the b value, it will be 0. So -b becomes 0. 2a. My a value is the value in front of x squared. So the value in front of x squared here is 1. So that becomes 2 times 1. And 0 over 2 times 1 is 0. So x is equal to 0 is my axis of symmetry, as we can see on the graph here. The vertical line going through 0 on the x-axis cuts this parabola in half. The next one, state the coordinates of the turning point. Now the turning point is the point where the parabola turns. So on the graph, we can see that the turning point is here at the bottom of the graph. So to work out the turning point, if you have the equation of the graph, which we do, y is equal to x squared minus 9, you're going to use the formula first, which is x is equal to -b over 2a, as we did for the axis of symmetry, and you'll get an x answer, which is x is equal to 0. You need to take this x answer and substitute it into the equation of the parabola, which is y is equal to x squared minus 9 in this case. So that becomes y is equal to 0 squared minus 9, which is -9, which means that my coordinate of the turning point is 0, and this should be -9 here. So 0 and -9 is the turning point. So the next one, state in coordinate form the x-intercepts. So the rule for x-intercept is make y 0. So in the equation, y becomes 0. So that becomes 0 is equal to x squared minus 9. This is difference of two squares, so I'll factorize that. X squared minus 9 becomes x plus 3 and x minus 3. So multiply it there. Take each bracket now and solve for x. So x plus 3 equals 0. If you solve for x, x will equal to negative 3. Or x minus 3 is equal to 0. Solve for x, you'll get x is equal to positive 3. So my x-intercepts there are negative 3 and 0 and 3 and 0. State in coordinate form the y-intercept. The rule for y-intercept is to make x equal 0. So in the equation, wherever I see x, I will put 0. So that becomes y is equal to 0 squared minus 9, which is negative 9. And that makes my y-intercept coordinate 0 and negative 9 there. Right. The next one, state the domain and range. The domain here, it means which x values does the graph cover. Now the parabola should have arrows here at the end of the graph like so, which means that the graph continues in both directions on the x-axis, which means it will cover all the values on the x-axis from negative infinity to positive infinity, or you can write that x is an element of all real numbers. Now for the range represents all the y values that the graph covers. So on your y-axis, I can see that the y values it covers is from negative 9 here going up. It covers all these y values here going up. So it means I can write my range as y is greater than or equal to negative 9.